Welcome to the Underground Railroad. Today is Thursday, October the 10th, 2019. It's King Sick, and I'm here to give you some really good information today. I was watching something recently, and I was watching a brother, Dr. Wesley Muhammad, give a really interesting um, lecture, so to speak, in an interview about rap music and comparing it to the minstrel show. And I know a lot of people have some issues about comparing hip hop music to the minstrel show, but far too often the discussions on race and the history of racism in America relegate the psychological legacy of slavery and racism to the background. And yet, in these same discussions, people often allude to the many resulting attitudes and behaviors of black people post slavery. For example, in the minstrel show, there were different characters being portrayed. Not all coons were created equal. Among the many characters, one was a razor-wielding coon named Zip Coon. He was a bully who only attacked other coons. Not the white man, never the white man, who was of course the one who wrote the script. Zip Coon was scared to death of the white man. However, Zip Coon was vicious and unrelenting when it came to his fellow coons. Sound familiar? Doesn't old Zip Coon in the 1830s minstrel show sound a lot like the gangster in today? After all, the nigger is the intellectual property of those who profited off of the slave and his labor. The African did not settle for identify as the nigger. These images and characters were not real black people. They were white men creating a stereotype and a narrative that now needs little encouragement. This was the intellectual property of these same white males. This was social engineering and war propaganda, essentially. Tell a lie and repeat it until it becomes true. 30 years before the 13th Amendment and the Civil War, Americans were entertained by nothing more than bigoted and racist minstrels. Fast forward to the year 2020. Look around the black entertainment landscape and the psychology and ownership of the product that you will be bombarded with. It is equally as destructive, if not more so, than the minstrels. The self-identifying nigger. This is a really interesting characteristic. And it's not just black children. The self-identifying nigger and the non-black kids who want to be just like him are a direct result of the niggerization of black culture, society, and music through economic starvation and social degradation. This epithet, meant as a slight, has often been transformed into this normalized conversational term. While the term itself carries no weight, it's the inevitable psychology that is attached and affixed to the nigger that is the reincarnation of the mentality that was the original intellectual property of the racist minstrel show writer himself, jumping Jim Crow. So it's no coincidence that the segregation system of American apartheid was coined Jim Crow. The racist in his own mind, much like the Doctor of Frankenstein, created his monster to serve his own specifications, to serve his own purpose. This is what rap and hip-hop has become, a vehicle to further niggerize the minds of black people principally. In rap music today, you will hear a lot of Zip Coons hurling violence at other coons, now known as the Ops. A Zip Coon never speaks ill of the white man. He only talks of murder and hatred for his own. The Ops, short for the opposition or the opponents, aka black people. The bully coon mentality needs to be recognized by people for what it is, a minstrel show character created for the destruction of African people. The bully coon. No people under oppression can elevate above that oppression with a mentality geared toward your own destruction and prescribed by the people whom will economically profit from your failure and hold you responsible for it. The one who needs no introduction, the snitch coon. As we speak right now, Tekashi 6ix9ine is testifying against his former allies. The gender ambiguous coon. In a nation founded on the sexual assault of African people as a principal method of plantation operation and control, it is naive to allow our children to continue to be bombarded with these images of confused black men and women and not educate our youth about the methodology already weaponized against African people through sex. Under systematic oppression, the most important institution is the nuclear family, man, woman, and child. Anything that can be used as a tool to prevent an enemy of war from having a nuclear family intact is a small battle won for each soldier displaced as a head of his family. Be it drugs, prison, gangs, poverty, homelessness, felony past, bad credit, poor education, or normalized gender identity confusion and normalized racism. All of these sociological mechanisms allow white supremacy to flourish unfettered. History shows us that when a Malcolm has a Betty Shabazz and a Martin has a Coretta Scott King, things are different. The black family stands taller and has more grit and determination to upset white oppression and demand justice, equality, and repair. Until 1970, 4/5 of black children were raised in two-parent homes. In this family unit, a sense of purpose and commitment that extends to the church or the mosque is had. To the job or the business, black folks' purpose for one another must begin to ascend to a place miles above the current mentality. A message to the elders. When elders look at the youth and only point out the faults that you see, that is called a negative affirmation. Challenge yourself to share your personal values. Talk to young folks about the choices you have made in your life's experiences. How did bad and good choices affect you? Children are intelligent enough to understand the complexities of decisions, but are sensitive to anyone affirming negative behaviors or social trends kids find appealing. Do not appeal to your self-interest to see a kid change behavior. Appeal to a child's self-interest. What is his or her dream? You'll be surprised how many young people have very realistic goals, but not enough realistic people to help them accomplish them. It takes a village to raise a child, and we must all do our part to encourage and educate young people in our midst, because our presence should be our presence. This in no way is directed as an insult to anyone who is gay. This is a clinical take on psychology of African people. To anyone who may be offended, the intent of this material is to inform, not to condemn. However, behavior is a choice, often a result of environmental factors. That is the only point here. Be a gift to young people. And with that, I close out. You can find me at @KingSick on Facebook and Instagram, and @KingSickX on Twitter. Or you can email me at julian360pinellas@gmail.com. That's PINELLAS. Julian360pinellas@gmail.com. And the Underground Railroad is going to roll up out of here for today. Take it easy.